Welcome to SQL Server online seminar. Today we are going to discuss how to make a corrupt page in SQL Server database, which means if we have any existing database in SQL Server, now we are going to make a corrupted page on that database. Okay, let's go here. Now I have already a database here, SQL Server online. Now I'm going to create one table on the database. Okay, table is already created and I am inserting the rows. Now especially what we are doing here is we are going to make a corrupted page on non-cluster index, because why we are making is when we corrupt the page on the particular index, so we have to be drop and recreate the database. But in scenario like when the page is corrupted on the database level, so what we have to do, we have to make it try to fix the page, but if it's not, we have to be restored the most recent backup with the recent backups. But in this scenario we are going to make a corrupted page on non-clustered index. So here we enter 974 rows, then we are making cluster index as well as the non-cluster index. Okay, let's go here. We have a table, a TBL class, and we have 4 columns that we created, and along with we created 3 indexes. One is cluster index, it came with the default, and we created 2 non-cluster indexes. Okay, this is the general process. Now I want to see the page how it works, and physically I want to see the page where it stores. So let's see first of all here, once we run this view, the sys index. So in this information we can find out the index name and the index ID. So why we index ID? The particular index ID stores on the particular pages. So that's why let's go and run the query here. I can show you. See, we created a 3 cluster or 1 cluster and 2 non-cluster indexes, and you can see the IDs. Okay, this index ID is 2 and the class date ID is 3. Now I want to be focused on index ID 3. Let's go here. This is the dbcc command, dbcc int, which means it's give the full information where the page stores, and in the page it gives each slot. That means whenever you enter the rows, correct? So each row has 1 slot. I can show you the data. Let's see, and let's go and select the top 1000 rows, and we see some particular data here. At the same time, now once we run that dbcc int, this is the database name, and we have to enter the table name where we doing, and at the same time, okay, what is the index ID? Here the index ID is 3. Now let's run the command. Once we run the query, we got index IDs here. So we are focusing on one particular non-cluster index, and let's run the query dbcc command here. So now I got the information. What is the information here? This is the file name, particular pages. So the group of pages are pointed to particular file. So this is the file ID, and these are the pages IDs. And you see the index ID 3, because we are looking the index ID 3 here. So whatever the index ID stored on these pages. And one more thing you have to remember here, this is the page type. What does it mean by page type? When you see the page type 2, that means it's a non-cluster index page types. When you see the 1, it's a cluster index, and when you see the 0, it's a heap. Okay, let's go on here, let's change it 1. So what does it mean? This is the page type, which is a cluster index. Okay, now we are focusing currently on non-cluster index, and then see here we have a page type 2. This is the non-cluster index ID. Okay, let's run the dbcc int command. Here I'm going to let's take a look. The index ID is 3. That means it's a non-cluster index. We are focusing on this index. And the page, let's see how many pages created particularly that index. So we have like 17 pages. Please make sure the page type ID is equal to, that means the page is allocated for the index. And this is the non-cluster index ID. Now you can choose any kind of page. Now I am choosing 154. Okay, this is the dbcc page command. So when you run the dbcc page, the database name and page ID, this is file ID and page number and the details. When you put the 3, that means it gives only the header of that particular page. You see the details here, it's only the header. But if I change it to 1, it means it gives full header and all the page informations. Let's take a look here. This is the slot. Slot means it's each kind of row. For example, in the non-cluster index, it's stored in particular row. That row is stored as based on the slot in SQL Server. Now you can take a look any of the slot. Now I am going to take a look on the 7 slots. That means the 7th row I'm going to corrupt this page on the slot 7. Okay, this is the index record. The record type, if you have any kind of data type of page, then that should be the primary underscore record. But now we are going to corrupt only index, like index underscore record. So this is the one. So before you have to do it, you have to open the one tool here. I downloaded the XVI32. We can find it easily download from the net. And when you run as administrator, now what I'm going to do is, first I want to find out the location of the database space, because this particular page is stored in the database, but we don't know where it is because the SQL Server store a lot of data in different format. So there is a small calculations we have to do it here. That means what are the page number? Let's have the page number multiplies with 8192. This is the page store in megabyte, in bytes, plus the hexadecimal number. You have to convert into the decimal number. So this is the offset hexa number. So the SQL Server stored based on this number, but we don't know what is the exact value of this number. That's why we have to convert this hexadecimal into hexa number into decimal. Hexa number into decimal. Let's go on here. So convert into, so this is the value for the decimal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that number. So here is a calculator, and now let's take a look which page number we took. 154 multiplies 8192 is the page, plus this is the decimal number 292. Make sure you should have to be convert this into decimal number. Okay, this is the number location we are going to find out. Okay, let's copy this number. Now I'm going to open the tool. I already opened this, and before we have to do it, we have to make sure the database should be offline, otherwise we can't open that. Let's take a look and change it to the offline and open the folder and the SQL Server data MDF file. You have to open the MDF file. Okay, let's see, I have already opened my MDF file here. Now I'm going to find out the address of the location. What is the location? We got the number from the calculator. So let's directly click on OK. Automatically it went there. So this is the location that index stored in the page. Now you have to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to corrupt only 28 bytes of the data. So you see the red mark here. So that is the only data we are going to be corrupted. Okay, let's enter SQL Server online corrupt. So now we change it. So take a look here. We change the data here. Instead of, it's supposed to be some number, but we change it and make it as a corrupt. Now exit and save it. Okay, now once it's done, let's go and take back this database back to online. Okay, the database back to the online, but what happened, the database is back to online, but we made only the corrupted index page. Let's run the dbcc checkdb on the particular database. What does it, checkdb do? It gives any corrupted page. Okay, let's here everything is good except you see the red mark. What is saying here, the page number 15 and at the page number 154, the page number 154 okay, what is showing here in the checkdb, it's a page number 154, it is corrupted page. So where we corrupted page, the index has corrupted. Let's take a look on the SQL Server log. Let's take a look in the SQL Server log, and you see what is saying, the dump page, there is some DLL page has been corrupted. It gives some information, but we have to find out what kind of page and what kind of information is corrupted. Okay, so generally if the page anything like suppose we did just now, that's why we know that particular page and particular index is corrupted. But if anything happened, how could we find out? We have to find out based on the page number. Okay, page number, then what have the steps we have to follow? Same thing, what we have to do is run this command and find out the page and run the page, so we can find out that it's an indexes page or it's a database page. Now how can we fix this? Just we have to be drop and recreate it. Okay, this is the page, this is the one. Okay, let's script out first and let's drop it. Okay, the indexes are dropped, and now let's create the indexes. It's already created. Now let's run the checkdb. See, there is no error on the checkdb because we fixed that corrupted page. Thank you for watching video. Please follow me on SQL Server Online training channel or SQL Server Online.blogspot.com.